Howdy, this is David Lee Kreitz, and once again I'm out here at the Arboretum. I'll just kind of let you look over my shoulder as I go around. You can see that there's lots of beautiful redwood trees and things like that. You think that we're way out in nature, but frankly, right there you can see a building, and if I walk this direction, let's see, you can see buildings over there, and as I come around this way, you can see that there's buildings and cars and stuff over there. This is the place where I come to do my live and other videos. I like the nature. I like the trees. I like being here. It's a very nice and convenient place for me. It's about a mile away from where I'm staying, and I can walk here. I can hang out. In this particular case, I'm this one nice big redwood table, and you can see that all of the redwood that's here is made actually from some of the redwood trees, and there's a sign there that says who it's dedicated to. And so this is where I do my my video recording. It's where I do all of my live videos basically, and when I'm doing some of my other videos that I do basically just for YouTube, this is kind of where I am as well. This is my favorite table because it's kind of here in the middle, but there's other tables up and down the path that I can use. And the path really isn't very far away from me. It's just right there. So I'm kind of going through this. That's not what the subject of my video is. So why am I going through and showing where I am and that kind of thing? Well, the deal is this. When I sit here and all you see is the background like that, and you don't hear the trucks going by and things like that, it's easy to think that I'm out in the woods, but I'm here, and usually there's people walking by, and every once in a while one of them comes in and says hi. Or one time I had someone come and put his head right about here and say hi, and that it was kind of cool. But I want to bring out a reality to where I am, a reality to me being here, basically in the middle of Davis, California, where you can see people walking by and hear the traffic and things like that. Because I want to focus on a reality of a couple of books by Napoleon Hill. Everything that you read, everything that's out there that discusses Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, all of those book reports, all of those reviews, I'm not saying anything negative about them. Napoleon Hill was given an incredible gift by Dale Carnegie, and that included all of his knowledge about how to be truly successful. And people who've read Think and Grow Rich and applied those rules in their life, they've become successful. The funny thing is, Napoleon Hill was not one of those individuals who became incredibly successful. It's possible to read something and just never grasp the reality. It's possible to study something and never have it become a part of your life. Hi guys, I see that there's some people listening in, and that's kind of what happened with Think and Grow Rich. After a dozen years of researching this, that's what he came up with, and it's a wonderful book. However, the book I want to talk about is How to Raise Your Own Salary. This book is actually the transcripts of the original interviews between Dale Carnegie and Napoleon Hill, and it's actually written in transcript form. Hill, question, Carnegie, answer. And so it's written in question and answer format, and it goes through everything. And what you see from this book is from the very, very first interviews. Napoleon Hill had all of the information. There's more info in How to Raise Your Own Salary than there is in Think and Grow Rich, which was a dozen years later, and who knows how many interviews later. So my first point here is that Think and Grow Rich is a great book. I learned a lot from it. I incorporated it in my life as poorly as Napoleon Hill did. Otherwise, I would be on my own ranch up in Montana or something where I had my own woods. But now that a friend of mine showed me How to Raise Your Own Salary, and I was able to start reading that and realize what it is that I was missing, it's become much more meaningful to me. And so that's the reason why both of those books are in this review. If you've read Think and Grow Rich, and you're not stinking rich, maybe it's because the wording didn't quite mesh. It didn't get internalized quite right. It just didn't become a part of you. And that's entirely possible. It didn't become an internalized part of Napoleon Hill. And the 2 times I read it, it didn't become an internalized part of my life either. What I'm sensing is, as I'm reading How to Raise Your Own Salary, I'm finding that there's things there that are more meaningful. And so Kurt asked, is it a pretty fast read? Not a freaking chance, dude. I got to tell you, this is something that I guess it could be a fast read. You could go in there and you could just start reading it like it's a novel. But there's so much meat that's in there. Carnegie tells him things that are mind-boggling, and as you're reading through it, some of the points just it just takes a little while to internalize them. You're going to be reading and pondering. There's a term that I've heard called ponderize, where you read a passage often enough that you're trying to memorize it, but you know you're not going to get it word perfect memorized, but you're pondering on it and you're thinking and you're internalizing it. And this is not a casual read. This is a ponderizing book. You're going to read a passage, you're going to read a couple of paragraphs, you're going to read a thought, and then you're going to sit there for a little bit thinking about it. But what I'm noticing is, as I am going through this, I'm internalizing it more than I did either of the 2 reads from Think and Grow Rich. Again, I'm not saying anything negative about Think and Grow Rich, but it's kind of obvious from the first chapter of this book, where Carnegie tells Napoleon Hill, basically he says, I've given you the greatest gift of any writer or philosopher in this country. You have something that no one else has had, and it's up to you to get it out to the masses. It's great information, but you can tell between the reading of this, between my reading How to Raise Your Own Salary and me remembering Think and Grow Rich, this information here is more complete and has a better feel to it. Entertainment as opposed to, and Kurt. Kurt said I was thinking it was an entertainment read as opposed to an intellectual one. This is going to expand your mind. There's a saying, and I don't remember who said it, but a mind once stretched by a new idea never returns to its original shape. My mind's already not returning to its original shape. And what's happened is, as I have read this book and as I have internalized this, the things that I'm reading from other mentors, from other leadership people, is more meaningful. I am seeing more information in it. I'm getting more insights because I sense that this information is making a dent. It's I got the thick skull. It takes a little while for some things to make it through, and this book is making it through. So my report here, my comments are not to disparage or to any way denigrate Think and Grow Rich, but it's basically a major emphasis on how to raise your own salary. I'm doing this on my iPhone, and when I hold this up in front of the iPhone, it looks like it's backwards. I hope it's forwards for you guys. If it's not, well then, oh, that didn't help, did it? Anyway, yeah, that's me trying to be funny. So that's the thing. This is my report on those two books. I'm trying to juxtapose those two books. If you've gotten any value from Think and Grow Rich, this book is going to take it over the edge. If you've read Think and Grow Rich and you haven't gotten any value out of it, then I would definitely try this one and see if these 17 points that Andrew Carnegie gave to Napoleon Hill can help you in your life and in your business. That's what I'm using it for, and that's what I assume everyone else will too. So that's my report for today, and y'all have a happy. Thanks. Oh, and by the way, I guess I never say this often enough. I notice a lot of people do, but they remind you to click on like and share and those other kinds of things. I'm still new enough at this that I don't even know for sure how to do that. How would you rate it for those that own? Yeah, I'm now in business for myself, Kurt. I have left active employment, meaning working for someone else, and I am 100% in business now, and it's this is, in fact, that's the reason why I started reading it again, is because I'm now struggling to start my own business, and in that view, I started reading Think and Grow Rich, and a friend of mine came back and said, "Oh, dude, don't waste your time. You need to read this other one." And I thought, I've never even heard of it. It's not on the front page of the list of books, even from the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And so, I did a search for it. I found it, and because I respect this other friend of mine, because I respect his opinion, I just went ahead and bought it, and I'm very glad I did. It's the kind of thing that I guess it doesn't matter where you are in your life. If you're working for somebody, if you're in the 9-to-5 grind, if you're trying to get out of it, start your own business, it still gives you the mindset that helps with becoming successful. So I guess to recap, I'm not saying anything derogatory about Think and Grow Rich. I'm just saying that this book, How to Raise Your Own Salary, is head and shoulders above anything that you've ever seen or heard from concerning Think and Grow Rich. And so that's it. Please click on like and share and get this to all of your friends. That always sounds kind of narcissistic in my head when I'm saying it. Oh, look at me, I'm really awesome. You need to share this to everybody in the world. But frankly, as much value as this book is doing for me, I would say my suggestion is make sure that you get this word out so that it can do that same thing for everyone else. Y'all have a happy.